Hey everybody, it's Wednesday, December 9th, 2020, and welcome to Lessons from the Chancel here at First United Methodist Church, Cherryville, where you learn the story behind the song. This past Sunday, December 6th, during our worship service, you heard the modern-day Christmas hymn entitled, "Mary, Did You Know?" It was sung by our Advent choir, Jill Pewitt, Debbie Gant, Janice Hovis, and Betsy Beatty, who were also joined by a recording of the full Christmas cantata choir back a couple years ago from 2018. You also saw a slideshow of pictures of the choir members during past cantatas. This 5-minute presentation honored our choir at a time when worldwide COVID pandemic restrictions have limited our choir to 4, no more, singers. It has also prohibited churches from congregational singing of hymns. But as you saw the live singers and pictures of the full choir, you saw the choir loft full and a big sound coming from the full group. The singers that you see in here are the following, and these are from the cantatas. Soprano, Mary Beth Wyatt, Julie Wyatt, Barbara Cruz, Michelle Bowen, Crystal Thornburg, Linda Alexander, Susan Fraley, Betty Smith, Debbie Gant, Pam Anthony, Emily Cruz Pope, alto, Helen Dellinger, Lynn Collins, Martha Cornwell, Rhonda Weehunt, Janice Hovis, Betsy Beatty, and Shane Turner, and also Donna Jacks. Bass, Dick Metzger, Vernon Smith, Bill Sneed. Tenor, Dennis Bradley, Tommy Allen, Michael Beatty, Bo Beatty, and Doug Whitworth and Paul Jacks. Also, David Beatty helped with the cantata. The other people that I mentioned last week, a long list of people that I thanked, is in that video from last week. Mary, Did You Know is a Christmas worship hymn written by lyricists. And remember, a few times back I told you that a lyricist is someone who writes the lyrics. This lyricist was named Buddy Green, and the composer was a musician, harmonica player, guitar player, and singer named Mark Lowry. After its release in 1991, this modern-day hymn became a worldwide sensation. Now, Mary, Did You Know is one of the most popular Christmas songs of all time. Mary, Did You Know is a Christmas song addressing Mary, mother of Jesus. And as I said, the lyrics were written by Mark Lowry, but he wrote them back in 1984, and he held on to them for 7 years. And the music was written by his buddy, and that's how you can remember his name. He was his buddy, and his name is Buddy Green. And he was a great harmonica player. And it was originally recorded by Christian recording artist Michael English. Mark Lowry was a comedian as well as a songwriter, and he was born in Houston, Texas, to an attorney and a musician. His mama was a singer and a songwriter, and she played the piano. And so they had him in church, and he loved music, and that's the side he took after, was the musician side. He could sing beautifully, and as a young child, he sang in church, and he graduated from Liberty University in Lynchburg, Virginia. Well, following Mark's story behind his now famous song is an interview that I looked for this reporter's name and it wasn't published. But anyway, he gave this interview, and his very own words are what I'm going to read to you. So the person, Mark Lowry, that wrote the words to Mary, Did You Know, is saying this, what I'm about to say to this reporter. In 1984, Jerry Falwell, and you've all heard of him, called and asked me to write the program for their next living Christmas tree. As I wrote the speaking parts, I began to think about Mary. I have always been fascinated with the concept that God came to earth. In a conversation with my mother, I remember she said, if anyone on earth knew for sure that Jesus was virgin born, Mary knew. That was a profound statement that stuck with me. One thing they couldn't take from Mary was that she knew her child was not ordinary. At the cross on Mount Calvary, while Jesus was dying, her silence was a great testimony to the fact of who he was and is. He said to them, when you have seen me, you have seen the Father. Of course, for this they nailed him to the cross, and his mother never said a word. As my mind went back to the manger scene, I began to think about the power, authority, and majesty she cradled in her arms. Those little lips were the same lips that had spoken worlds into existence. All of those things were contained in the young child quietly on her bosom. Even now, he was the very one who had given life to his mother, Mary, and then she gave life to his human body. I began writing a list of questions I would like to ask Mary if I could sit down with her. Questions such as, Mary, do you know who is in your arms? Did you know the one who holds creation together? And the one who holds you together is lying helpless in the manger. Did you know that your baby boy would walk on water, give sight to a blind man, and calm a storm at sea with his hand? Lowry carried his lyrics, and that was the end of his interview with the reporter. Those are all the things he was thinking about Mary. And then the reporter goes on to say, Lowry carried his lyrics with him for the next 7 years. In 1991, he asked his good friend, his good buddy, Buddy Green, to write suitable music for his poem. Then she had an interview with Green, the harmonica player. And Green told her in an interview, Mark handed me his lyrics, and I held on to them for about 2 weeks. One day I pulled them out, and I looked at them. They seemed to suggest a minor key. A major key, what I used to tell the students, sounds happy. A minor key sounds a little bit sad and mysterious. And so the mysterious side of that minor key is what he was going for, I think. And it was this minor key approach to writing an accompaniment. I completed the musical setting in about 30 minutes. So the lyricist held on to the words for 7 years, finally gave them to Buddy Green. He held on to them for 2 weeks, and then he just hit it, inspiration hit him, and he wrote it in 30 minutes. I called Mark at his home in Georgia, and on the phone played and sang the song to him. He was ecstatic, and he said, "That's it." 2 weeks later, we met at Mark's hotel room in Nashville, where he recorded the song on a small portable machine. It was then taken to Michael English, who was the first one to record it and made an album. And so he was the first one, the Christian artist was the first one to record Mary Did You Know. Many other popular singers have recorded it. Kenny Rogers, the country artist, the opera singer Kathleen Battle sang it. And 2 singers that have carried it to the studio, Kathy Mattea, a country singer, and she sang it at a gathering at the White House. Also, Dolly Parton sang it, and Kenny Rogers. The song has become a popular Christmas song performed by more than 30 artists, including CeeLo Green, Clay Aiken, Kenny Rogers, Winona Judd, Michael English, Natalie Cole, Dolly Parton, and the group Pentatonics. In 2016, Lowry himself sang it. Please enjoy the 5-minute slide video of Mary Did You Know by our Advent Choir.